call the meeting to order at 4:35. So the consent agenda is the first thing. Does anybody have any comments, questions? Want to make
I'll move to a second.
excellent. Paula?
And Emily will second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. So moved. The consent agenda is now in record. Okay, do we have any written communications from the public?
There was a series of emails from someone who sometimes comes, very rarely, he does once in a while come to our meetings, Mr. Reed Sutton. He had some suggestions about improving accessibility of our website, and thought we might be out of compliance on our FOIA website. I got the attorney looking into that. So it's not really germane to this committee in particular, but that's what that's the.
And then I do not see anybody here. So, I guess there's no public comment. Okay, old business, capital needs.
Nothing really new to report there. This has been a standing item. Roof's done, I believe, completely done. We've got we had some minor plumbing stuff that was done since we last met, but nothing major.
Do
You'll
we
note
have
that
some leaks when the roof is being done, or no? Is that something
we had a
else?
ton of them.
Yeah,
we had a ton
we've got
of
new
those.
tiles here, right?
Yes, yeah.
My friend asked me if it was expected that there was a hole in the side of the library, and I said, I do think so.
Over there, yeah,
They just wanted to check to make
Yeah, they're
sure
trying to
that
make
we
sure.
were aware of it.
Yeah, yes.
yes.
I think they got it under control.
And that, I don't have an update on that, as to when the old boiler, or is it the old chiller, I can't remember which, is gonna be removed. I think it's a chiller. But hopefully that will be soon. So they can get that, whole card up again.
I think it's funny.
That's all I got for capital needs.
And then the furniture project,
Yeah, we've got,
the desk is looking good downstairs.
yeah, there's still some work to be done on. We're working to set a date for them to come finish that up. I got some emails about that today, and also bring the rest of it and install the other desks. So we still have the reference desk, children's desk, and a new to replace, and then a new desk for the security officers. That's right at the entrance.
Wasn't there something that was like too long?
Yeah, that would be part of
Thing
this.
against the
second,
wall?
Yeah. And then, as we took down the old shelves, there are big holes in that wall back there behind the circ desk. So you probably noticed, we stripped the wallpaper off. The first quote I got to resurface and paint it was $7,000.
Wowza.
So I've asked for another quote.
Would you like me to give you my painter, because he is not even close to that.
That's insane.
It's not about the painting itself, it's not about the paint or the painting itself, it's about fixing all the big holes. That's the biggest part of it, but it still seems
That seems high.
Excessive.
real high to me. So we're
Celeste is in Belgium. She did it for me in my closet. I could have brought her in and make her do it. She's pretty good.
I'm waiting on the second quote, so we'll see what that entails. He was just in today. The general contractor's in, he's gonna send the painter. One of the things he's gonna look at is there any reason to paint below the credenza, behind and below the credenza and behind the new shelving? I don't think there is. So he said that would save you some money right there. We don't need to fix that. I wasn't here when the first guy came in to do the estimate, but that $7,000 seemed like a lot of money to me for one wall. So,
That seems insane.
yeah, so we still have some minor problems to fix, and hopefully I'll be talking with Tiffany in the next week or so. Tiffany's our is he back in, or is he just okay? To kind of coordinate and see what the plan is and all that.
Did we finish the sure we got the right stuff and asking for the, or sending back the old stuff, whatever that all was.
Make sure I
Oh, yeah, I
understand the
forgot
question.
about
Like, cause they sent us some of the wrong
Yeah,
stuff,
they
and
did.
they're
And that's
missing
one thing.
stuff.
They, some of those booths with the tables and and down the aisle there, those were the wrong ones, so that's what I need to get with Tiffany about, to
Okay.
see what's going on here. We haven't paid for it,
Okay.
so, but we haven't made it, we withheld final payment, so we're not out of anything.
Well, that's good. And then the sale of our furniture is happening this weekend.
Yeah, one of the sales, you know, I don't think he's gonna have everything in these sales, that's the 11th and 12th,
So,
but,
why, I thought we were doing an auction, we're not, we're doing a sale.
yeah, what we directed him was to
Sell.
use whatever method whatever method he chooses to get us the best
Yeah,
return
and
on it.
how is he, so I looked it up, but there's no listing yet, for the other day.
I don't know if he's added things to it since then or not, but I did send you a link, and I know at the time he had just put it up there, so I don't know if he's populated it.
I don't think they'll go, but I buy something.
Oh, I plan to buy
She's-
just one thing I want.
Oh,
It's been sitting over there for a while, staring
She
at
had
it.
her eye on it.
I do. I'm excited, and I can get it in a very legal way. As opposed to walking out of it. Okay, so, the 2025 compensation update?
Yeah, you guys may remember voting to increase staff salaries by 4.4%.
Yes.
Part of that process was to, Carl's heard this last week, part of that process was you guys approved a memorandum of understanding between the collective bargaining agreement, staff and library. You guys passed that, the union passed it, and then the other signature was for city manager, but what I found out was that city council still had to vote on that before he did it. Well, they canceled their meeting on the 6th. So they won't be able to vote until, and then 20th is Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, so they won't be able to vote until the 21st. Here's, just so you guys are aware, here's how we're addressing that. Non-union staff, so management staff, on January 1st did not receive any raise. When city council votes to approve this, they will get back pay for that raise going back. Union staff got a 1.4% raise on January 1 because the current contract guarantees that. And they'll get the difference once council approves the memorandum of understanding. And then everybody will get a nice fat check, second check in January, or third check in January, and, so 3 this month, and be back on track.
Oh, okay, so it will be able to be.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
Really,
well,
this is something
assuming that the city council doesn't throw us a curveball.
Yeah,
You never know.
Yeah, you don't, but I mean, I feel like it's a rubber stamp, but I haven't had anybody reach out to me, so I expect that it's a rubber stamp, and Mr. Gleason has, expressed his support for it, so I expect it to be fine. It's within our budget, it's what we budgeted, so.
Okay. Is there any other discussion?
I don't have anything.
Okay, the check registry, my favorite. So live history, what's the live history?
You know what, I know Alyssa talked to them, so I think she'd do a better job explaining it than I would. It's one of the 150th, one of the programs for the 150th anniversary.
so they're gonna be in here October for 3 full days, and they will take our history and perform it out on the floor.
Oh, we actually talked about this.
Yes, yes, so it was the first thing that they got, it's supported and funded by the Friends of the Library.
And it's also like a escape room.
It's interactive.
Yeah.
All right.
I was actually actually curious about the Calm.com subscription.
Yeah.
What do you get in this subscription?
All staff and their family get access to Calm.
Amazing.
Yes.
I have the app, I listen to the rain sounds for free.
Yeah,
So I'm too ashamed to pay
we
for
first subscribed
If it
when,
helps, that's great.
we first subscribed a few years ago.
Yeah,
There
it's
was a
awesome.
lot, the staff were going through a lot, and, you know, for that price to be able to supply it to, you know, 40 staff people and their families. And we've got, honestly, it's a little less than half who are regular users. But there's, you know, some of them are heavy users.
Yeah,
And sometimes it's a family member, but
I like
that's important too.
I
Oh,
like it.
yeah.
That's awesome. I missed that one. I'm glad you said it.
Oh, I got her.
I know. I know this one's small, but today's business solutions, third quarter cost for tax program, is that for?
That's our cost for patrons tax. It also
That's what I
creates
thought.
a revenue stream.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
That's for sure.
we get it all back.
I have one more. No, anybody else have any questions? Nobody's gonna ask about, nobody's gonna ask about.
Is it your own list?
Yes, it is, I saw it.
Hey, I'm just, you know, I'm proud of you.
It only took me like a year and a half, right? That was, you know.
The only one I thought was kind of weird is on the library trust funds, the last page. There's an Amazon payment purchase for other library grants of $0.
Oh, yeah.
I can't explain that. Let me ask.
Just to make sure it's not a typo or something on that one.
Oh, you're right.
Well, it could be a
It's like, I don't know what
typo.
this really pulls out.
It
of,
could be a
so-
typo because it comes straight from our, you know, our financial software. But that doesn't mean I understand it. So,
You got something for free?
it's probably the result of a mistake, an entry mistake on our end, is my guess, you know, that we added another budget line without charging any money to it. But I'll find out.
Okay.
Okay. Any others? Do you want to make a motion to
Oh,
accept the check
Sorry.
registry?
I will make a motion to accept the check registry. Emily?
And Paula will second.
Okay, we have to do this again. So Emily,
Emily, aye.
Paula, Sophia, aye. So pass, we will accept the check registry. And I assume we'll just get the answer to that
Yeah.
next Thursday. Okay, budget.
Yeah, and this is the, you know, the final budget report for fiscal year 2024, except it'll likely be a little bit different when the annual reports come out, because the books are still up there. So there will be some changes. But they shouldn't be major. We ended up in a better place than we expected for two reasons. One of them, well, both of them probably had it. So I'll just point you to the fact that we ended up with a surplus of about what I was expecting as a deficit. So about $55,000. Two reasons for that. One, it got by at least two library staff, me being one of them, and one city staff. We paid Dell twice for a ton of computers.
Amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So they sent us the money back.
That was very nice
Oh,
of them.
yes.
So that's one reason we're in a better place. So it's great that we got our money back, but we are revisiting how the same invoice could come across my desk twice. And all our checks and balances get through, you know, including me. I mean, I'm other is you may remember that Alyssa kind of talking to you guys about a plan to spend down the book budget. What we're going to do is we're going to put some money into Hoopla for future purchases. Through one miscommunication or another, it's not, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but it's not her fault. It didn't get done in a timely fashion. By the time it got done, the city had said, we're done for the year, writing checks. So that's another thing that I'm going to take care of. The problem with that is, yes, it rolls money into our operating cash, but it doesn't increase our book budget for 2025. So that's disappointing to say the least. I just don't think there's a remedy for it at this point.
Other than the fact that the things that we did not renew that created that extra money that we were going to put towards Hoopla, we will get that money this year. It will go from the line item for electronic subscriptions. It just won't be as much as I had planned.
So we end the year with 1.8 million in the operating fund, in cash in the operating fund, in the capital fund, 192,000. That money that you guys voted to move over will also happen, the council will approve on the 21st.
Yeah.
It'll be through journal entry or some accounting magic that Emily would explain better than I would, will be put on the 2024 budget. As of today, or as of January 1, 191, or roughly 192,000 in that fund. Cantoni, $7,000, Meyer, $34,000 roughly, donation, memorial donation, $6,800, for a total cash position of $2,089,733.60. So,
At least we have one. It's good, right?
have one more?
A cash position.
Yes, we do. Yeah, I mean, we're in good shape, and that, that is going to get spent down, this year, because our final invoices for furniture are going to be coming through, and, so it's going to get spent down, and the capital fund is, now it's going to be rebuild the capital fund, and we need to, I think, and one of the things I would like to do is get the band back together, Sophia. I would like to get a building committee going again, and I'll need two trustees for that, but to begin to think about, okay, so if we do start putting some money aside for capital, what are those capital projects going to be? And I've got some ideas, but it's not the Rick Meyer Public Library, it's the Decatur Public Library, so.
I thought it was a good committee and it was informative because everybody had opinions, but then also it was interesting when people were talking through it, originally everybody was so against moving the children's library, and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, this is not a bad idea.
Yeah, but those big overall plans that we developed, in 2019 and early 2020 got knocked off the rails by the pandemic, and nobody had the, it would have been a $13 million capital campaign, and nobody had the stomach for a capital campaign after, certainly during, and not after the pandemic either, for good reason. But I think it's good, and we started the piecemeal stuff, buying furniture. Let's get the furniture first, let's do the desks, and then but I think it's time to revisit it. It's a different, it's a different library landscape now, to some degree. There's more of an emphasis on self-service, there's more of an emphasis on electronic. So I think it'll be worth our while, maybe next week to talk about reestablishing the building committee and getting a couple of trustees to serve on that committee.
But at the same time, the physical building and our traffic is important as well.
Correct. Oh, absolutely. So, but we got to figure out how to best serve, and who are we serving now? Are the there changes we can make to the building that could better serve the people who are actually using, or could attract? And let me make clear what I'm trying to say here. So our architect's product architecture, Dan and Tiffany, they designed the Champaign Public Library. One of the things that they did there was, hey, we don't get this U of I students. Let's get them. Let's find ways to get them. We've got a junior high school across the street. Let's find ways to get these. And they designed the building with that in mind. And now you walk in there and there are U of I students all over the place studying. Whereas before they didn't go there. Probably helped them now last year when the undergraduate library at the University of Illinois closed. So, but there are design things you can do to sometimes attract folks.
Last time they were talking about like making it kind of cafe style up here, and a game room, and just ways of attracting the younger crowd.
Now,
So-
when you're talking about a capital campaign, basically a fundraising campaign associated, which is perfect timing with our 150th, because hopefully the library is going to be in the spotlight a lot this year. So,
I can tell you
kind
there's
of
also going to
work
be.
off of that.
I can tell you there's also going to be a competition in the very near future. As I know Heritage will be doing. One of the things when you, in my experience, which is limited, but I have done a capital campaign, and the consultant that we hired, one of the first things he did was look at capital
Who else
campaigns.
is to-
Has there been capital campaigns in the last 10 years? When were they? How big were they? Are they competing? Maybe it's something for, he said, throw out church capital campaigns. They're always going to do them, and they've got a captive audience, and they're going to be successful. And they're not a competition for public works. But if you built a pool last year and you had a capital campaign, you might not be able to pull it off. So.
Would this be something that the foundation would help with?
Yeah, and I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I think we would find out what we want to do before we start worrying about a capital campaign. But yeah, I think I would expect the foundation to play a leading role in it, but that doesn't mean they
See themselves as.
see it the same way. Yeah, I know. When I first got here, the foundation at the time, nobody currently it was a completely different cast of characters. They didn't see that as their role. So.
Is Weegie still on the
Yes,
foundation?
yeah.
That's good, she's helpful for
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
It's a
So-
skill set of hers.
Absolutely. So anyway, it's just it's a long-term thing, but I also want to point out that we're now getting on a fairly regular basis, I think, teenagers coming in after school, because word is getting around. It's
Place is looking good.
they did some cool stuff. There was an afternoon a couple weeks ago after school, and I went back there, and there was like 30, 35 kids back there. And we haven't seen that in a long, we haven't seen that in the 10 years I've been here at all, have we?
No, that's awesome.
Not unless it was a class. It was
Exactly.
brought in
Right.
by a teacher.
Yeah, these are just kids after school coming in. So just putting cool furniture in there, that's it. We didn't do anything, plus we've got a team librarian who's done amazing work. And Teen Circ is through the roof.
Which is, that's, every library struggles with that, so
Absolutely.
that's a big, that's awesome. Well,
That's it. We'll talk about the numbers
Next week,
next
yeah.
week, but the Teen Circ is blowing up at a much higher rate than adult, and actually children declining a little bit. So, yeah,
That's awesome. We don't want children to decline in our town, there's enough problems with moving.
yeah. Well, we don't want any to decline, but some of it can be population change too. When you talk about a 1%
Yeah.
difference. So anyway,
Excellent. All sounds good. So the meeting schedule, I'm assuming this is all the second Wednesday of the month. Does that still
That's correct.
work for everybody?
really proud of myself because I put those on my calendar today
I
with
love that
this,
too,
and I got it
Emily.
right. I got them all right.
Don't be sure, I made this, and don't be sure they're right.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
okay. Oh, now I gotta go back and check.
I checked them against mine.
Oh, okay.
okay, that's enough people, we're good, we're good.
We're good. So, we basically have to decide if this is what we still want to do. So if somebody wants to make a motion, I'm okay with it, but
I'll make a motion, Emily.
Paula will second.
then we can all vote at once. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent, so this is our new meeting schedule for 2025-26, the beginning of 26. So, anything else? Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting. Emily.
And Paula will second.